I'll tell you the two buzzwords are community involvement, leadership ability. We want to hear also cultural ambassador. I could give you a lot more buzzwords, but cultural ambassador as well. When you go overseas, you're representing the United States, your version of the United States. We're not asking you to toe either, the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, but you are a cultural ambassador while you're on Fulbright. Last, in my intro, I want you to basically don't put all your eggs in one basket. I definitely think there are a lot of scholarships out there. I'm a big fan of having your options out there. So if you think Fulbright fits for you to teach English in Spain, and then you want to apply to the Japanese English teaching program, the JET program, more power to you, or graduate school, definitely don't rely on one scholarship. Fulbright is a long process. You'll apply in the fall. You won't be notified until around now, some of you, right? So it is a long process, but it's worth it. On the full grant, it's basically self-designed. You create the project. So it's not Denise and I deciding this is what you should be doing on a Fulbright. You come up with the idea, you work with Denise and her staff here at Amherst and fine-tune it. Obviously get advice from people that have been on the program and other students. The example I like to give is Alexis Tucker. She's from Princeton. She was a French maid. She went to France, and she's doing the influence of hip-hop and French culture post the riots in 2006. So she affiliated with some professors probably in France, some hip-hop organizations in France. We don't know what, it's her decision. So she basically calls the shots. She asks the 5 questions: who, what, where, when, and why. She says exactly what she wants to do. You can go to her blog. It's at fulbright.mtvu.com. We have 5 Fulbright MTVU people. And this is just an example. She interviewed Rookie, I believe. And he's got some cool music. Ignore the deadline on there. We just moved the Fulbright MTVU award to the standard deadline, which is the fall. But that's an example. I like to use it as an example of the independent project or the full grant. So you guys create it. It doesn't necessarily have to be in your major. It is a cultural exchange Fulbright, and that's something to keep in mind. Okay? The affiliation, basically, it's a base camp, and what that means is where you're going to be based. In the application for Fulbright, the coolest thing is you're calling the shots, if you're doing the full grant, exactly where you want to be. So if you want to be in Berlin working with this specific artist, you can do that on a Fulbright. If you win the award, you're doing exactly what you want to be doing. How do you find an affiliation? You have to reach out to different people. I would look at professors on campus, visiting professors on campus, talk to them, find out what is the best organization to conduct your research in or the project you want to do. Similar to Alexis Tucker, she had to find hip-hop artists in France or organizations that can help her conduct her project. That's pretty simple. The other way I say is foreign students on campus. Obviously, the example I give is I'm not a cancer expert, but if someone asks me where's the best cancer research center in the United States, I'd say one of them is probably the Mayo Clinic, for example. So what you want to do is talk to foreign students on campus and say, hey, I'm applying to Brazil. I know you're Brazilian. Can you hook me up with, I'm doing a public health project. They'll email their friends back home and say, hey, I have this student at Amherst. He wants to apply in public health. I'm an engineer. I know nothing about this. Can you help me out? They'll help you, give you a lead. The other example I'm going to give you is the Scholar website. You guys should jot this down because I will not repeat it. This is CIES.org. So once you guys, I know some of you might become professors eventually one day. Hint, hint. They give you more money too, but with the Scholar program, these are professors going abroad. We send 800 professors going abroad every year, and we bring over 800 visiting scholars here to the United States. So what you do is the database is always live in October, and it's got various years on here. So you can see, you can search by discipline, for example. Anyone shout, give me a discipline that you're interested in?
Political science.
Political science, thank you. You're fast over here. The last presentation I did, it took them 2 minutes to figure out. I was like, come on. So you'll see here on the top one, Andreas is from Latvia. He's a researcher from Latvian Academy of Sciences. His research topic is mobilization of protest movements, the role of new information and communication technology. And you can see he's based at the University of Washington in Seattle. And you see the wonderful care of Professor Balsky, or however you pronounce it. Everybody see that? I did butcher that name, didn't I? And you see the dates there. You guys are very resourceful students, as you know, because you're here at Amherst. You can easily contact the University of Washington's website. Go to Professor such and such, I'm going to not try that name again. Email the professor and just say, hey, I know you have a Fulbrighter there with you, and I would like to speak to them. Obviously not that direct. What you want to do is say, hey, I'm applying for the Fulbright program. I'm in communications. I'm thinking of going to Latvia. Would it be possible that I you talk about my project with this professor? Can you forward on this email to the Fulbright contact, your Fulbright contact? If that doesn't work, you can also contact us at CIES.org. It is a part of IIE. And we can forward you your email to the relevant professor. Affiliation is the hardest thing to get within the Fulbright program. It is also the most rewarding. Okay? You can have more than one affiliation. The last thing I'll mention, remember it's a base camp. Okay? And remember, you're not asking for money for this organization. So a lot of people confuse that. So when you have an American sending an email to Brazil saying, hey, I'm applying for Fulbright. Can I affiliate with you? The Brazilian organization is probably thinking, oh my God, the U.S. economy must be very bad. You know, all the Americans are leaving. Remember that you're not asking for money. That your money is going to come from the Fulbright program. You just need a base camp. Where you're going to be based, access to professors, see if you can carry out whatever research or project you wanted to do.